actually ridiculous and really disturbing how much price gouging has been going on since these wildfires started. I was just watching a webinar. I was just watching a webinar yesterday put on by the California Association of Realtors going over price gouging. So here's a few things you should know. And if you're a realtor, watch this webinar and stop doing these things. Anyways, the first little tip rule that you might have already heard is that if a home was listed in the past 12 months, it's been on the market, it's on the market, they cannot raise their price as of January 7th more than 10%. So if a lease was listed on January 1st at $3,000, starting January 7th, if they raise their price, they cannot have raised it more than $3,300 per month after January 7th. That same 10% rule applies for if it was listed at all over the past year. Maybe it was listed in June, you had a tenant, you cannot raise the price more than 10% of what it was listed for or what that previous tenant was paying. A rule you might not have heard of, which was news to me and to a lot of my colleagues, is for new listings. If you don't have a previous tenant or a listing within the past year to go off of, this is a brand new listing, the fair market value, you actually have to go off of what HUD says on its website. There's a part of their website where you put in your state and your county, and then you get this chart with all the different zip codes and corresponding baseline rents for 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom rentals. So they're different for each zip code. So when you go to list a property, you have to find out what the base rent is in your zip code for your size property, and you can't list it for more than 160% of that base. So let's say your base is $3,000, you can't list that property for more than $4,800, which is going to be really interesting for the higher end markets. Like my market is Malibu, and we have homes that rent for $40,000, $50,000, $80,000 a month. But if that home hasn't been listed in the last year or hasn't had a recent tenant to go off of, they're not going to be able to list it at that. And you might be thinking, if you're a tenant, that that's an opportunity for you guys to get a really good deal in an area you might not have been able to afford before. But why would a homeowner put their home on the market if they're not going to get anywhere near what they typically could? They're just going to wait until this period is over. So we're just going to continue to have not a lot of inventory at a time where we really need inventory. So those are 2 rules to look out for. If you have any questions, let me know. There was so much more information in this webinar, so maybe I'll cover more in a part 2. I hope this was helpful.